Okay, here we go, 4.4. This is where I'm going to start. I'm going to do 4.4 and 4.5. So the goal, utilizing that Google slide, multiply two two-digit numbers. So 24, two numbers, two digits. And then I have 1 and 3. Definitely point that out. The word digit, again, is another term a kid might not know. And we're going to use arrays, and these are arrays, the ones where you can see all the little squares. And with these arrays, we're able to find these partial products. Okay, so we're really focusing on being able to draw these in 4.4. The solve and share, a visual you could use with it to make it a little more exciting and get some vocabulary out before you start doing a notice wonder of the picture. So we have a theater in this solve and share. And you really want to bring out the term rows, that there are rows of seats. And how many seats are in each row? Is there just 2 chairs in each row in this theater? No, that would look kind of weird. So you could have that conversation and then roll into your solve and share. When you work through the solve and share, my recommendation is to pass out a grid sheet for them. You can find one under the teaching tools, or I made this one that you could use, and they could write and model the situation with a multiplication sentence, and then they try to show that multiplication happening in an array down here. And then you're looking for those kids that have not only drawn the array, but, well, that would be good to showcase someone that just drew a 14 by 23 array. You say, awesome, there's the first step. So-and-so was able to make that rectangle. And now, based on that, can we split this up in a way that makes it easier to count these instead of counting it 1 by 1 by 1 by 1? So now we see how kids are splitting it up. And if they don't get to splitting it up into the place values of 10 and 4 and 20 and 3, that's okay. Leave it for the lesson. Or someone might actually just split up one of the factors. Like 14, they might just choose to split that one up and not the 23. So they'll probably come up with some very interesting ways of splitting it up. So then in the lesson, I said just roll right into practicing with more grid paper. So having that in a transparency or just paper after paper of practice. Let's do one on paper in one spot, then get up, move around a little bit, grab another one. Let's do another one. And we just hit up problem after problem after problem after problem, trying to draw these arrays and splitting them up. Okay. The ones in your book, when they go to doing the ones in independent practice, the arrays are already done. So if you take a notice of that, they don't even have to draw them. They're already there. So then it's a matter of, wow, you already see the array drawn out. Can you find those partial products quickly? And may even get them to be more of a detective by saying, is that array really describing what we're multiplying? Because sometimes, books makes mistakes. So let's just make sure. So when we look at each one, we need to make sure we see the right amount on each side of the rectangle of those dimensions. Okay, so there's 4.4. 4.5, now you're still multiplying two-digit numbers, but this time we're veering off of using square by square by square. So if we look at the goal in 4.5, now we don't have all the little boxes to find the area. Now it's open, and this is called an area model because we're finding the area on the inside. We just can't see any of the squares like an array shows us. And we make use of the distributive property as we are using the area model. So for example, the 20, I'm going to distribute through to the 10 and the 8. And I'm going to take the 5 and distribute it through to the 10 and the 8 also. So you can see that happening in the problem. I'm taking the 5 and distributing it to the 8 and the 10, and I'm taking the 20 and distributing it to the 8 and the 10. So to get all those partial products. The solvent share for 4.5 is has to do with a playground and being split up. So the visual that I put in there to bring up the discussion was like a map, a city map, and we're looking down bird's eye view of a park. And what do we notice about the park? It's not just one blob in the middle. It's like different spaces of the park. You have this space you could go to, or that space or area, or that part or area of the park. There's all these different parts. It's split. It's divided up into a nice layout, a nice way. So then when you go to the solvent share, you'll see those words in there of a park being divided up into 4 parts, 4 sections, and you're finding the area. They give you, I put it right here, they give us the picture of the area model. So you could talk to your class like, oh, hang on a sec, they're actually giving you a picture of the park with its, wait, I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even say that's the park. I would just say, ooh, that picture, what does this have to do with the playground? What does it really describe what's happening in the playground? So see if they can talk about that, make sense of it, and then go forth to try to find the areas and see what kids will do to fill it out. Key idea after you watch that video is you can break up only one of the factors, not both, if you want. So you guys are really used to, in an area model, breaking up everything and getting 4 partial products. But sometimes a kid might not want to break it all up. You could just break up one of the factors. So I would really look at that yourself and see it. So here would be an example of one, 18 times 25. I might choose, when I do an area model, they're going to show an example where I'm like, okay, one side's going to be 18 and one side's going to be 25. I might decide to keep the 25, but split up the 10 and the 8. And now I only have to distribute one number through. So now I have 25 times 10, which is 250, and 25 times 8. And you might be like, oh, well, why would a kid do that? Well, a kid might want to in this situation because 25 is quarters. If I have 8 quarters, that makes 200 cents. And then I'm able to get it without having to use all 4 partial products. So I just wanted you to keep that in mind so that kids can be more flexible with numbers. They are showcasing that. Again, when you break up a number, that's when you are using the distributive property to get over and get the partial products. Another thing to see an example of is without the area model, like I just wanted to show you where that distributive property is happening. You could see it in the one that we did right here. Well, not, where was it? Right here in the area model. But if I didn't write the area model out and I just didn't want the visual there, so I'll just erase a little bit and show you. We kept the I split up the 18, so I broke that up, but then I did not break up the 25. So then I was able to distribute my 25 through to get my 2 partial products. So it's showcasing what's happening in the numbers, also, as well as the area model. So just keep that in the back of your mind. All right, there is 4.4 and 4.5. We'll keep going with the rest later on in the week. All right.